you're wasting energy on battles that were never worth winning. Here's what the top 1% understand that everyone else doesn't. Most battles aren't worth fighting. They're designed to drain you. Not because you'd lose, because winning them costs more than the victory is worth. Your time, your energy, your peace. The 99% fight every battle, every argument, every challenge, every provocation. They think that's strength. It's not. It's exhaustion disguised as honor. The 1%? They choose their battles with ruthless precision. And most of the time, they choose not to fight at all. That's why they win before the fight even starts. Not because they're weak, because they understand something fundamental. Every battle you engage in gives power to your opponent. The moment you fight, you validate that the battle matters, that they matter, that their challenge deserves your response. And 99% of the time, it doesn't. Here's the truth nobody tells you. The person who refuses to fight isn't surrendering. They're winning by default, because the fight only exists if both people show up. Remove yourself, the battle disappears. And they lose the only thing they needed, your participation, and your opponent is left swinging at air. Even Marcus Aurelius dealt with this daily. As Emperor of Rome, people challenged him daily, his authority, his decisions, his character. And most of the time, he didn't respond. Not because he couldn't, because he understood that response is participation. And participation in meaningless conflict is beneath someone who values their time. He wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." Translation: don't fight on their level. Don't engage in their chaos. Don't validate their challenge by responding to it. Just refuse. And watch what happens. They escalate, get louder, more desperate, trying to provoke you into fighting. And every escalation proves they need your engagement more than you need theirs. That's the 1% rule. Stay until the end, because I'm going to show you the exact framework for strategic non-engagement. How to win battles without fighting them. How to protect your energy while your opponents exhaust theirs. How to rise above conflict while everyone else drowns in it. This isn't about avoidance. This is about dominance through detachment. Most people will never do this. That's why they stay stuck. Here's how the 1% approach conflict. First principle: not every challenge deserves acknowledgement. When someone challenges you, pause. Ask yourself, does this person's opinion actually matter? Will this conflict improve my life in any way? Is this battle aligned with my long-term goals? If the answer is no to any of these, don't engage. Not because you're scared, because you're selective. The 99% fight every battle because they think they have to. The 1% understand that engagement is a choice, and most battles don't deserve that choice. Second principle: silence is the ultimate power move. When someone attacks you and you don't respond, they lose the only power they had, your attention. And without your attention, they have nothing. Think about it. Someone insults you. You ignore it completely. What happens? They're left holding the insult with no reaction. The insult loses power. They lose credibility. And you? You didn't spend a single ounce of energy on someone beneath your focus. Epictetus taught, if someone speaks badly of you, consider whether what they say is true. If it is, correct it. If it isn't, laugh and move on. But he missed the key insight. Most of the time, you don't even need to determine if it's true, because the opinion of someone who attacks you publicly is already irrelevant. Third principle: let your results speak. The 99% defend their worth with words. The 1% demonstrate it with actions. When someone questions your abilities, you don't argue. You execute. When someone doubts your character, you don't explain, you live it. The moment you defend yourself with words, you've already lost. Because defense implies uncertainty. Confidence doesn't defend, it proceeds. While others talk, you move. Fourth principle, strategic retreat is not surrender. Removing yourself from conflict isn't weakness, it's calculation. You're not running away. You're refusing to waste resources on a battle that doesn't serve you. Sun Tzu wrote, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." The 1% live this. They don't engage in battles they don't need to win. They simply move forward and let their opponents exhaust themselves fighting shadows. Fifth principle, protect your energy like it's your most valuable asset. Because it is. The 99% give their energy to anyone who demands it. Someone provokes them, they react. Someone challenges them, they defend. Someone criticizes them, they engage. And by the end of the day, they're drained. The 1% understand energy spent on irrelevant conflict is energy not spent on meaningful progress. So they refuse, not out of fear, out of strategy. Sixth principle, choose battles that align with your vision, not your ego. Most people fight because their ego is triggered. Someone disrespected them. Someone questioned them. Someone challenged their status. The 1%? They ask, does winning this battle move me closer to my goals? If not, it's irrelevant. Your ego wants to fight every battle. Your vision knows better. Seventh principle, let time do the work. Most battles resolve themselves if you don't engage. The person attacking you? They'll move on when they realize you're not participating. The drama? It'll fade when there's no fuel. The conflict? It'll collapse when only one side is fighting. Seneca wrote, "Time discovers truth." The 1% understand this. They don't rush to defend. They don't scramble to respond. They just wait and let the truth emerge on its own. Because truth doesn't need your defense. It just needs time. Final principle, your absence is your answer. When you refuse to engage, that silence communicates more than any response ever could. It says, you're not worth my time. You're not worth my energy. You're beneath my focus. And that's the most powerful statement you can make. Not through words, through strategic non-participation. I used to fight every battle. Someone questioned me, I defended. Someone challenged me, I engaged. Someone provoked me, I reacted. I thought that made me strong. It didn't. It made me exhausted. Because I was spending all my energy on people who didn't matter. Fighting battles that didn't serve me. Proving myself to people whose opinions were irrelevant. Then something changed. I was working on a project. Something important. Something that required total focus. And someone, it doesn't matter who, started publicly criticizing my work. Not constructive feedback, just attacks. Old me would have spent hours crafting responses, defending my decisions, proving them wrong. But I was tired. Tired of fighting. Tired of explaining. Tired of proving. So I did something different. Nothing. And that changed everything. I didn't respond, didn't defend, didn't acknowledge, just silence. And you know what happened? They kept attacking. Because silence frustrates people who need control for days. Getting louder, more aggressive, more desperate, trying to provoke me into responding. And every day I stayed silent, their attacks looked more unhinged, more desperate, more pathetic. Other people started noticing, not the attacks, the silence. And they respected it. Because silence in the face of provocation communicates something words never could: confidence. The person who's secure doesn't need to defend. They just continue. Meanwhile, my project succeeded. Not because I proved my critics wrong, because I didn't waste energy on them. I put that energy into execution, into results, into progress. And results are the only response that matters. That's when I understood the 1% rule. Now I apply it everywhere. Someone tries to start an argument, I don't engage. Someone questions my decisions, I don't explain. Someone challenges my character, I don't defend, I just continue. And 99% of the time, the battle disappears on its own. Because battles need 2 participants. Remove one, it's not a battle. It's just one person yelling at nothing. I had a colleague once who constantly tried to undermine me. In meetings, in emails, publicly, trying to make me look incompetent. Old me would have fought back. Instead, I ignored it completely. Just kept working, kept producing results, kept moving forward. And you know what happened? Within 3 months, their behavior became obvious to everyone. Not because I pointed it out, because I didn't react to it. My silence created space for their behavior to speak for itself. And it screamed. They got desperate, escalated, made bigger accusations. And with each escalation, they lost more credibility, while I gained more respect. Here's what I learned. The battles worth fighting are rare. Maybe 1% of all conflicts you face. The other 99%? Distractions, energy drains, ego traps. The 1% know this, so they protect their energy ruthlessly. They don't engage in battles that don't serve their vision. They don't waste time on people who don't matter. They choose, strategically, ruthlessly, and most of the time, they choose not to fight. Not because they'd lose, because winning would cost more than it's worth. Now, when someone tries to start conflict, I ask myself, does this person matter to my vision? Will this battle move me forward? Is this worth my energy? If the answer is no, I don't engage. I just continue and let them exhaust themselves fighting someone who isn't participating. That's the 1% rule. Final truth. Most people fight to feel powerful. The 1% don't fight and become powerful. Most battles are won by not fighting them. The 99% think every challenge deserves a response. The 1% know better. They understand that engagement is power. And most people don't deserve that power. When you fight every battle, you're not strong, you're reactive. When you choose your battles ruthlessly, you're not weak, you're strategic. The person who fights every battle ends up exhausted. The person who chooses wisely ends up dominant. Not because they won more fights, because they refused to participate in fights that didn't matter. Your energy is finite. Your time is limited. Your focus is valuable. Don't waste them on battles that don't serve your vision. Choose your battles. And most of the time, choose not to fight. Win by choosing not to fight. It's not surrender. It's dominance through detachment.